The Army should ditch its restrictions on hiring soldiers with tattoos and those with a history of asthma to solve its recruitment crisis. Those are the words of Capita, the firm responsible for armed forces recruitment. It comes as it was revealed the firm had only recruited around half its annual target of soldiers, with just months to go, and only expects to hit 70% of the goal by the end of March. Slightly worrying, given everything that's going on in the world, isn't it? Now, joining me now is former Royal Navy Commander, Rear Admiral Chris Parry. Chris, if I can call you Chris, thank you so much for joining me today. Now, with everything going on in the world, it's frankly a very scary place, and it seems to be getting scarier. We do have an issue with recruitment in all our armed forces, but in particular the Navy, I understand, is suffering more than others. So what is wrong with hiring people with maybe an unusual haircut or with tattoos?
Well, there's nothing wrong with it, but I do worry when a company that has consistently failed over 2 decades to actually help recruiting suggests we actually go out and recruit from a wider pool. That suggests it's their commercial objectives that are driving things more our strategic needs. Now, Dawn, the bottom line is I don't mind who signs up to fight the king's enemies. I'll take anybody along, to tell you the truth. But it's horses for courses. You know, you can't have people with asthma doing some of these high energy tasks that you're seeing at the moment. You can't have people with tattoos fronting up a guard of honor, for example, for a foreign dignitary that actually despises in his culture, tattoos. So the problem is that we have to have a scale of uniformity, both in terms of fitness and appearance, to project the operational capability and image that we need to prevail both in peace and war.
So basically you think this would be maybe lowering our standards too much and that the recruiting firm in charge of this, basically Capita, aren't doing a very good job?
They're doing a dreadful job and they're getting paid a lot of money for it. The thing is, Dawn, look, if you look at Ukraine now, you take somebody with tattoos or with asthma into the front line, but you couldn't expect in every job for them to be as operationally effective or indeed presentational as you would need them to be for every task. So you'd have to park them, if you like, in certain jobs. But then, of course, you get the equality lobby saying, well, actually, why can't people with asthma do this? Well, the fact of life is they can't actually run 100 metres without having to, treat themselves.
Yeah.
So these things are just gimmicks, Dawn. We can recruit enough people. The trouble is we're putting people off joining the armed forces because the offer is not good enough, to tell you the truth. And I'm afraid to say we're alienating most of society by trying to introduce absolutely ludicrous diversity and equality conventions.
So we should actually, basically, Chris, make sure that the best people get the jobs rather than just doing a box-ticking exercise to make sure we have the right amount of women, the right amount of whatever diversity box you want to tick.
Yeah, we've got to be fair. We want the best people to serve our country. When I used to command sailors, Marines, soldiers and airmen, I used to say, look, you play at international level for your country. That means you've got to be really good. And the best people don't join for the money. They don't join for their own narcissistic reasons. They join to serve their country. They like the idea of duty, honour and sacrifice. Those are the people we need to reach out to. But at the moment, I'm afraid every single piece of transactional sort of legislation and transactional sort of convention is putting those people off.
So what should be done, Chris, to appeal to more of the right people to get involved, to sign up?
Well, I think we've got to start caring for our people a bit better. I had a discussion recently with a high street retailer CEO, and he said, well, of course, the armed forces are just like another job, isn't it? And I said, well, can I just stop you there? You don't exactly ask the people who serve in your shops to risk their lives and their health defending your knickers counter. There's this sort of idea somehow that the armed forces are just another job. They're not.
Chris,
you actually put yourself in harm's way on behalf of this country, and we need to reflect that. And people will sign up. The best recruiter, Dawn, is when we have a war, because people see the point of it. And we're in a very dangerous world, as you pointed out. Now, we've got to say to our people, we value you, you play at international level, and therefore we'll treat you like that.
Sorry, Chris, we've run out of time there. Thank you so much. Very, very interesting to talk to you. Appreciate your time. That's Rear Admiral Chris Parry, a former NATO commander.